I'm not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic. Better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone. Eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones, and you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long, pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling, squash the scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion, they seeing double, they rushing and pass the shovel, the dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back, never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag, I go full contact, out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
Yeah. Welcome back, people. Welcome back to an episode that, we're going to be honest, but it's going to be a little bit tough. So if you see Austin shed a Denzel Washington tear, just know he's in good spirits. He's just having to relive certain moments, all right? So without further ado, welcome back to the HorseShoe Mob Podcast. We're bringing to you everything Colts, and we're gonna slander some AFC South teams too, but we do want to make sure that we show respect too. So shout out to the Texans for like you said, winning a hard fought game. We're gonna get into all that once again, but before we do, make sure if you haven't already, go to www.fanbattlesports.com so you can see all AFC South related content, but you don't care about that because you're watching us. So make sure that you're going to www.fanbattlesports.com for all your Colts related content, whether it be articles, past episodes, bios, whatever content you're looking for Colts. Definitely go to the website. Make sure you're subscribing, bookmarking, saving going on there, because we're gonna be posting out brand new content all off season. So yeah, just be on the lookout. But without further ado, let me just go ahead and just get to the guys. So with us, we have the person known as the silent assassin, except for when people are stupid, in which case then he gonna tell you you're stupid, and we're okay with that. Austin Cook, everybody.
Yeah, so I'm Austin.
See, man, when I go ahead and put you out there as the enforcer, I need you to come enforceful. All right. Yeah, like a little enforceful. But and then we have with us co-host of Texans or the Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. And also just a guy who has hopes in this offseason that probably won't be fulfilled in terms of getting rid of certain front office people. Harish Nukala, everybody.
Not only will we not get rid of certain front office people, we also like to re-sign backup DBs that don't know how to tackle when it's 2nd and 20.
I get it. I understand. Like I said, you have lofty things, but you know what you need to do, Harish? You need to start saying things, because whenever you say stuff, the opposite happens, like generally, like within the next couple months.
No, because on our show on Friday with the Texans fan battle, I predicted us to lose that game. Lo and behold, we lose that game.
Well, a broken clock is right twice a day.
That's fair.
Appreciate you, Harish. I truly
we are trading up to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., which means we'll actually go get Roma Dunze at 15. Because that's what we really need.
Okay. All right. I'm okay with that. No.
I
was talking about the Michael Pittman not being a wide receiver one, but like I said, I'm not gonna let you live that down.
But I changed my tune.
Eventually we got you to see the light.
It took about 3 weeks. Actually, it took long.
I was about to say.
About 2 seasons, but listen, I was just really frustrated with this team last year. And
Oh yeah, everybody was. But this team was a shit. So rightfully, you were frustrated.
And in some ways, it still is.
Yeah. But we're a shit show at 9-8.
Thank you, Shane Steichen.
Fair. And with all that being said, I'm Chris Jackson. So so unfortunately, as we all know, the season has come to an end. However, we have gotten some news. And let's just go ahead and just get into some of the good stuff first and foremost, right? We're gonna go good and then we're gonna go great. Okay. So good news. Quentin Nelson makes the Pro Bowl. So once again, with another Pro Bowl bid, like I said, it's just he's basically a perennial Pro Bowler at this point. I think he had every season except last season for his career. So so shout out to Quentin Nelson. I know it's much to the ire of the whole entire fan base. DeForest Buckner, Michael Pittman Jr., Ryan Kelly, and Zaire Franklin all came in as alternates. I mean, if we're being honest, I think you can make the case that probably, Zaire Franklin possibly should have been in there. But once again, the Pro Bowl is a popularity contest. So, it is what it is. So that's with the good news, right? Now, I'm going to go and just kind of put this in a way where it's kind of like a 2 birds, 1 stone scenario. So Mike Vrabel fired after eliminating the Jaguars from playoff contention. So they went into this past Sunday as the division leaders. The loss to the Titans. Of course, the Texans won that game. The winner of the Colts and Texans, basically, if the Jags lost, would win division. The Texans won on Saturday night, and the Jags lost on Sunday afternoon, which meant that they went from the division leaders all the way to out of the playoffs in less than 24 hours. And Mike Vrabel fired. So if you're a Titans fan watching this, like, comment, and share, because we're here for you. Not really, but still. But so what's so the thing is, like I said, the Jaguars were eliminated, but the thing is they were a crapshoot down the stretch anyway. They went 1-5 their last 6 games. But Mike Vrabel being fired, did we expect that to happen with the season that they had, knowing that they had a lot of personnel issues? Or I don't know. I wasn't shocked by it, but at the same time, I thought that it's just okay, he might have one more year to kind of see about getting this together.
Yeah, I mean, he done a lot for the Titans being there as long as he was. And I don't know, they didn't have the best weapons, and it's not his fault. They're still going to be trash with whoever they bring in. So, I mean, he was, by Titans fans' standards, the best in the league, him and J-Rob. Now they're both gone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think for me personally, it's my belief that Mike Vrabel, for everything that he did, the crazy thing about it is for him to be as successful, as consistently as he was. I mean, this is somebody who, and I mean, this is me quoting Titans fans. This was the same team that was a number 1 seed when they had the most injuries in the league. So, I mean, for me personally, you're 1 year removed from that because you had Ryan Tannehill. He got injured for the rest of the year. And then this year, Ryan Tannehill gets injured again. So you're leaving your fate in the hands of a rookie mayo muncher. And it doesn't go the way that you think it's going to go. So, I mean, I think by all accounts, it's just I thought that there may be another year they would give him to kind of get it together, but they just cut ties immediately. So, I don't know. Harish, where do you stand on all this? Because this is strange.
The Titans. This is where I stand on this. The Titans are about to be the new Jaguars. They're going to be shit for years. They're going to suck for a very long time.
Yeah.
I watched this interview with, I guess, A to Z Nashville. I don't know if you guys heard of them, something like that. And they interviewed the owner of the Titans, and she has to be the biggest idiot I've ever heard in my life.
Jesus.
And I thought Jerry Jones was dumb. Now this lady is beyond dumb. So turns out this wasn't even a Rand Carthon move. This is literally, even people. I read that like people asked Rand, why they made the decision. It's like, I didn't make the decision. She made the decision. So it's almost like Rand wanted to keep him.
Yeah.
But you look at the entire 6 years that he was there. I can name 1 year where he was given just a decent team.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, injuries are a part of the game. And you want to say injuries are a part of the game, you got to make it work. He literally took this team to a 1 seed with the most injuries in the league. So I don't know how much more they wanted from him. They took away he was already upset about losing AJ Brown. He didn't want that to happen. They took away, and then they never replaced him, or they replaced him with Happy Meals and In-N-Out burgers.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say In-N-Out burgers, because the In-N-Out burgers are actually somewhat enjoyable. That Titans team was just not good.
Yeah, In-N-Out's trash. But
yeah.
Traylon Burke, and they replaced him with Traylon Burks. The defensive line is probably the best thing any of the GMs have done in the last 3 years. The offensive, they held on to Taylor Lewan just as long as for way too long. Him and Frank Reich could probably join the way too long club together because we held on to him for way too long. And it's just bad GM decision after bad GM decision and ownership and leadership. And at the end of the day, Mike Vrabel scapegoated in all of it. But
of course he is.
That's fine. He's going to go somewhere. Mike Vrabel's going to win Super Bowls. If somebody gives him a decent – I think he's that good of a coach. He's going to win Super Bowls. If somebody gives him a half-decent roster, he's going to do well. I don't know what job – there's a lot of really good jobs out there. Obviously, Seattle just opened up. The Chargers just opened up. The Falcons have a really good roster. That's interesting minus a quarterback. I honestly, the people are saying the Patriots because, he played there. I think the Patriots would actually be a horrible job to go to right now. I think that's a team that's in a massive rebuild. You're going to have to find the right GM. That GM's going to want to hire Mike Vrabel, right? Regardless of what Robert Kraft thinks. So I don't know if that's going to be a match made in heaven. But I was very skeptical of Mike Vrabel going into Tennessee. I actually thought he did really well despite what he was given for 6 years.
Yeah, and I mean I think it goes to show with a lot of the moves. I mean, they signed Bud Dupree to that overinflated contract, and they didn't get nearly the production they were looking for. They let AJ Brown go, and AJ Brown in 2 seasons in Philadelphia. In his first season in Philadelphia, and this is a wild stat, he averaged by himself more than the top 3 receivers on the Titans for that year.
Yep.
And then he actually would be once again the leading receiver on that same Tennessee Titans team this year, even with D-Hop, coming in and getting the 1,100 yards that he had. So I mean, like I said, his replacement has yet to get his replacement has yet to eclipse anything over, I'm going to say, his production for 1 year in Philly.
Agreed.
So
it's weird what they're doing.
Yeah, and you know what? I know that Rand Carthon is just like he's just working with some things. He can only work with Bud so much, but at the same time, it's just like it almost looks like a sabotage because that team is just bad. It's not like he was given a good team and then he went, 6-11 with a good team. He had a bad team. It was a terrible O-line. Very little was addressed. I mean, I think we talked to Titans fans. They had 6 draft picks last year?
Yep.
And I mean, they didn't address, I don't think they addressed O-line almost at all, but here we are once again looking at exactly where we are when it comes to this team, and they're just not good. But you know what? Enough about the Tennessee Titans, because I don't want to give Titans fans more to be sad about. I just want them to just watch this and just be sad. just be sad. Be as sad as you would like to be. And if you know what, if you start to feel good, you start to feel good again, you start to feel hopeful, then just remember, be sad.
Just remember your owner's scapegoat of the head coach for her own mistakes.
Exactly. Sorry, Adam Strunk, but
whatever her name is.
It is what it is. You can say whatever you want about Jim Irsay, but we were 9-8, so color. So without further ado, by the way, prayers up to Jim Irsay. We found out he had a respiratory infection that he was being treated for over the last week or so. So definitely make sure that Jim Irsay is okay. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this game. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, because this game ended up being the culmination of everything we thought it would be, and then just. So you know what, either one of you can just go ahead and just get us started with this, because it was a rough one at the end.
I honestly thought it was rough throughout. This offense again, just outside of Jonathan Taylor, so I was actually surprised Jonathan Taylor played as well as he did, because Houston has shown to have a pretty good run defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now was that neglected by just not playing very good running backs? Probably, but regardless, I think they'd held the last three or four opponents to 80 yards rushing or less, and it kind of went off. Just frustrating from Gardner Minshew again, man. Missed your open receiver after missed open receiver after missed opportunity after just underthrows or thrown behind. And again, it's the reason why I thought this was a blowout.
I'm sorry. I just needed you to understand. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just reading. So Michael Newsom, Titans commentator for AFC South Fan Battle podcast, he says, I don't know if I'm more sad about Vrabel or about being out of Mayo. I didn't know it was possible to be out of Mayo in Tennessee, but I guess here we are. And then Daniel J. Steiner McMullen, who, of course, is commenting from Facebook with right in front of our guys from the Anvil. Shout out to the Anvil. Those are our brothers. I'm going to get Acosta on here pretty soon. So, yeah, we'll definitely do that. But he said wide open Alec Pierce after wide open Alec Pierce.
Basically.
And it's crazy. It's crazy that you mentioned Gardner Minshew and then he makes that comment, because it was just highlighted how many times Alec Pierce was open and how much he just was. Yeah, how much he never got the ball, which I'm going to say, and like I said, I'll let you continue, but it was honestly inspiring to see how many times Alec Pierce was open, because we know that, Gardner Minshew will take the check down before anything else. But, I mean, the fact that Alec Pierce was getting open means that I think he's starting to get it. It's starting to come together, but he still has a ways to go, at least in my eyes.
Oh, yeah. He's been doing that all year.
I agree. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Anthony Richardson able to get Alec Pierce the ball?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Gardner Minshew is just I don't want to take anything from Gardner Minshew because of the spot that he's put in and what he's able to accomplish for this team. Mm-hmm. Being basically 15 yards away from the division, I think is an accomplishment to him. Right? He's won the most games he has as a starter this year.
Yeah.
He's just not good enough. There's a reason why he's a backup. Right?
Yeah,
and we've seen a lot of that throughout the year. It was just frustrating to have it happen at the most. This game was there for the taking, and I predicted this team to lose 24-10, mostly because of the defense. But Gardner Minshew's inability to make timely throws is another reason why I just think we would not be able to score as much. I mean, we scored 19.
Yeah,
But even defensively, Jesus Christ, I cannot stand this scheme. I cannot stand it for anything. And then when you just add that, I understand Juju gets hurt again, which is starting to become a concern for me. That guy needs to just sit down on a couch all offseason and just heal, because he rarely played this year. Yeah. But when he did play, there were a lot of bright spots. Darrell Baker couldn't tackle a tackling box if I put one right in front of him. That guy is just so frustrating. And, we get them out to, what was that on their last drive they scored? It was 1st and 20. I think we get a sack, don't we? Don't we get a big sack on Stroud? And it's maybe second Yeah, it's the Harrison blitz that comes right off the weak side, or the strong side, and
just go upstairs and get in bed.
And then immediately the very next play, they get it out into the flat, and Darryl Baker can't make a tackle.
Yeah,
frustrating. And then of course the wild throw that Stroud makes, which again. I'm trying to tell you, man, CJ Stroud was the most accurate quarterback in last year's draft class. He was by far, in my opinion, I've said it many times, he was by far the best quarterback in that draft class. And it wasn't even close, in my opinion.
I think that was meant to be a throwaway. I don't think he was meaning to throw it to Nico Collins. He just
even
Nico
if he
made
didn't,
the play.
Yeah, he made the play, but it wasn't in a spot and in an area where Nico even had the ability to potentially make a play.
Yeah. Because I mean, honestly, it's like, and I think this also goes back to what we talked about with Gus Bradley. That area right there, like there was a pocket, like there was a whole entire space for Nico Collins to be able to go there, even with where like the team was. And you know, like I said, if you're playing defense the way that you're supposed to, and you're covering all those spots on the field, especially in a zone. Even if the pocket is breaking down and he just heaves one out there, there's no reason why there shouldn't be somebody who's able to get into that spot to be there where the ball is. Like there's no reason why there wouldn't be. But once again, it's just like we're dealing with a very, very zone heavy scheme that has holes in the coverage. And on it, like, especially with the personnel that we have, like we can't go in something like that. We can't have corners playing closer to the middle than playing on close to the outside and then expect them not to exploit on the outsides, because that's what we dealt with. That's where a lot of those busted Darryl Baker plays came from.
Right. Well, a lot of it is playing kind of like you said, you know, the coverage is one thing, but the play at the line of scrimmage where you're shading inside or shading outside, you've got to always shade inside, because these guys are just basically, you know, cutting inside and getting space, and they're able to break open. And you've got nobody's tackling, right? This isn't just the corners. The linebackers aren't tackling. There was a handful of missed tackles. And just the tackles. Jesus Christ. Braden, it all fell apart once Braden Smith got hurt, surprisingly enough. That's you start that timeout that they had actually ended up helping the Texans, right? Because they had the timeout because of the injury. It really shifted the momentum back over to the Texans. They end up stopping Indy. Matt Gay missed a few field goals, which unacceptable to me. I mean, the guy that gets, however much stupid contract he got.
5 years, $22 million or something like that.
Does well all year, and in the biggest game, doinks two kicks, two of them, I believe. Oh, and was it an extra point and a field goal?
Yeah,
that's 4 points. That's basically going from what we lost by to a tie game. So
exactly.
It's just frustrating. I blame Chris Ballard again for not bringing in enough talent. I understand guys got hurt, but when you have to go from Rodgers, who was at the slot machines against the Colts all offseason or however, whatever he was doing. And Kenny Moore is really your only good veteran corner, and he's doing what he can. You lose Gillia, you don't really replace him. You come out with this cockamamie interview crowd. Corner's really hard to play. We've got guys that we really like. It's just really hard to play. Like that excuse isn't good enough for me anymore.
Yeah, it's a scapegoat, because we knew going into this season that we would possibly need a veteran presence at quarterback. Yeah. And we knew that there were veterans at cornerback that we'd potentially be able to pick up. I mean, I think for the most part, we had Marcus Peters was out there. Like there were people out there that could have been serviceable. We weren't asking anybody to come in and just be number one and be the guy. We just needed somebody else to go opposite, so that this way, you have, you could potentially, because I think that Juju can play CB2, but you get somebody who can play a CB1. And, like I said, you put Kenny in that slot, basically just playing him in that nickel spot where he's most comfortable. that means that you can go and have a little bit more freedom on the outside. But having the inexperience that you have, and then having Daryl Baker in the secondary, didn't help matters at all. I mean, like I said, I will continue to go back to the Browns game where when Amari Cooper was covered by Juju, he had 0 receptions, 0 yards, 0 TDs. And then as soon as Juju got hurt, when he's out for the game, Daryl Baker starts covering him. He starts going off.
Yeah. That's just called not having enough depth. Like that is called bad depth right there.
Well, yeah.
Like,
and I did
that big of a difference.
No, I can't do this because I did go and tweet today that the last thing that I want to hear this offseason is about depth signings when we know for a fact that there's holes that we need to fill on this team. So
yeah,
I know there's certain places that we need depth, but at the same time, there's certain places that could have flourished if we had a veteran CB that, Chris Ballard had picked up. If you go and you keep Stephen Gilmore, you potentially are going to go and, have somebody there. And mind you, yes, he's doing great in Dallas, but the thing is, imagine having Stephen Gilmore to be able to be there with this group. Not only do you have somebody who can definitely play corner for you, but then also you have somebody who's going to be able to coach up the younger guys. To me, Stephen Gilmore is probably a little bit closer to Juju and Jalen Jones in terms of build than he is with anybody else. So that becomes, I'm going to say, more of like a mentoring thing where these guys will be able to come along a little bit quicker because they're Juju and Jalen Jones are not going to play the way that Kenny Moore does. Kenny Moore is a smaller cornerback, so he has to play a little bit differently as opposed to guys like Juju and Jalen Jones, who are 6'2" and 6'3" respectively, and they can do a little bit more than Kenny can with the way that he plays.
I think the challenge becomes is the scheme, right? Like guys like a Gilmore who want to be man corners. Yeah. And this scheme just plays way too much zone for these guys. So even last year, unless you were bringing like man underneath the zone, Stephen Gilmore is basically on an island, right? Just kind of covering his zone. It's the scheme, dude. Guys, this zone scheme is just so frustrating. And there's no man concepts within the zone. It's just a complete zone. Yeah. Cover 3, cover whatever the hell you want to call it.
And it's so easy to beat underneath, too, because all you need is just like screens and underneath routes attacking the flats, and your cover 3 just goes straight to hell. We saw that with the Bengals.
Well, literally the first play of the Texans had, right? The safety bites on a play action pass. You're screwed now. You got nothing.
Yeah,
and that's basically what happened.
Exactly. But and I know we're going on, but Austin, in this particular game, because I mean, I think we got what we asked for with Jonathan Taylor. 30 rushes, 188 yards, and a TD. So, like, offensively, we can't say it's a failure, but the problem is that where did this offense go wrong in what they were able to do? Because that Texans defense, to me personally, it's not a great defense. But where did the offense just really go wrong in it all?
Well, Harish kind of mentioned it. Gardner wasn't on target. He had several overthrows, several just behind or in front of receivers. He just didn't have a good game when we needed him to. He missed Alec Pierce several times down the field. We can't just rely on a run game. We needed it to be balanced, and it wasn't balanced. It was just JT.
Yeah. And that's a game that you asked for from like your star player. Like he got paid in the beginning of the season, and he's kind of like battled and he didn't get the chance. I mean, this is a guy who didn't get the chance all offseason to really just get acclimated with the offense at all. And even from the limited exposure that he had, the exposure that he had was with AR. And I mean, I think he maybe had a total of a game and a half with AR as a whole. So, I mean, like I said, this is what we've come to expect from JT. And then it comes down to that. Now, what I will ask, and this is a question that I'm going to just kind of it's just going to this play, but then we can kind of jump back to this whole JT situation. The fourth down play. Was it a good call, or was it too cute, as many people are calling it? And I'll start off with you, Austin, because I need I need to know your thoughts on this.
So apparently it was a play that they had practiced with Goodson in. It was a great play call. It was wide open. It should have been an easy first down, potential touchdown. But Gardner didn't execute. Sure, Goodson could have made the catch, but it was a tough catch for anybody.
Yeah.
Do I think Goodson should have been in? No. But I don't fault the play call.
Mm-hmm.
But I do fault who was out there.
Okay. What about you, Harish?
I thought it was the right play call. Obviously, when you get a guy wide open like that, and basically you can walk to a first down, the play call was excellent, right? Because I think I went back and listened to Shane afterwards, and he's like, "Look, we were going to run it on fourth down. Y'all saw JT in the game, but they were stacking the box. So I called the timeout, and we've run this practice play. This play is a play that we apparently they'd practice not just this week, but for a good part of the season for different types of situations.
Yeah,
and it was there. It was literally there from the time the ball was snapped. But again, Gardner just all game just wasn't on target. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying it's his fault, but at the end of the day, it was not a great pass, but he had two hands on the ball.
Yeah,
you gotta make the catch, and again, like I think it's just poor execution on both of their parts. Poor execution on Gardner for not getting it in the right spot. If Gardner would have gotten it up just a little bit more, it would have been right there, right? But again, as Goodson gets two hands on that ball, you got to catch that ball. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody tells me. You got to catch. They always teach you from Little League. If you get two hands on the ball, you better be because you're catching it.
Exactly. And and I know that you guys are split on this, so I'm gonna give my true and honest opinion. It was a good play call.
Yeah.
I think it just I think when it just came down to it, the play just broke down in a way that it didn't work. Like it didn't work at that particular time. And I think you can practice that. You can practice things a million times. But the problem is that you're in a situation where, I think the lights became a little bit too bright, especially for Gardner. Because the thing is, it's just like when you see the way that goes, mind you basically have a running back running a wheel out the backfield, and it's a running back that they're not game planning for because he had that cushion to be able to, if caught, work his way into the first down, and then on top of that, potentially go and take that upfield. So I think, like, for me personally, we would call it one of the best play calls ever if it had worked.
Yeah, if he catches the ball, Shane Steichen again puts his guys in the right place in the right time to be the most successful.
Exactly. But the thing is, because of the fact that it didn't work out, now it's being seen as, oh, it was a terrible play. It should have never happened. Like they should have known better than to do something along those lines. And it to me, like, I get it. It's a very, very victim of the moment type thing because it's kind of like you're damned if you do and you're a genius if it don't. But at the same time, it's like we know exactly what it is that we're expecting and what it is that we can do. But I mean, at this point, I don't, like I said, I like the play call. I don't think that anything was necessarily wrong with it. So when it comes down to it, I was completely okay with it. And honestly, I think specifically, let's also be very, very honest about this. If AR plays, mind you, we don't run into that situation because teams are going to have to game plan for that man differently. It's easy to game plan for Gardner Minshew because you know that the mobility is necessarily going to be there. He's mobile enough to possibly get away from a rush if he needs to, possibly. but he's not going to be somebody who you have to game plan just for their legs alone because of the fact that you know that this guy can beat you in more ways than one.
Agreed.
But with that being said,
he's also a slide before the first down merchant. So,
well, I mean, we saw this. I mean, we saw this man run and potentially have a first down with open field up. Somebody's running from the side, and this man ran backwards. This is what we've seen. This is what we've seen. This is what we know. This is who he is as a person. We love Gardner Minshew because he is just entertainment all the time. But Lord, is he frustrating to watch at times.
I will admit, if he wants to come back, though, I'll take him back in a heartbeat.
Oh no!
What the hell are you doing here?
Hello, fellas.
Hey, it must be a late Christmas because we have the ginger beard man with us, Matt Briggs from Texans Fan Battle Podcast.
And I brought you all gifts. I got 2 now. I got 2 now. And I got 2 now. Congratulations, guys.
You know what? This time I hope the Browns beat you on a game-winning field goal. And
you know what's going to happen?
And you know what they're going to do? They're going to pan to a video of Deshaun Watson celebrating
with the massage.
Yeah. He's too busy getting rubbed down there, fellas. He's not gonna be
He's gonna play the game. Action. Say, hey guys, I've been getting rubbed down for the last 6 weeks. I'm ready to roll.
I hope he plays the game. He's Joe Flacco's 2 times better quarterback than he is. I hope he plays the game on Sunday.
If Deshaun Watson plays and y'all lose, how are you gonna feel? How funny! What if he's this whole time just like trolling everybody?
He's out for the season. He's not gonna play. But
what is it? A shoulder?
Yes, a shoulder.
So, yeah,
it's a shoulder. Yep.
Fair enough. Yeah,
he had the same surgery Nick Foles did when he played for the Jags.
Oh, collarbone. Nice. Good times.
So he's not gonna be playing. But I just want to stop by and say, guys, that was a hell of a game. I know trolling. Like, can y'all imagine the next 5 to 10 years AR versus CJ Stroud?
AR versus Stroud is going to be prime.
It's gonna be fun,
dude. It's gonna be Manning versus Brady-esque type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, take away Mayo Man and Goldilocks. Like, they had nothing to do with this division. It's gonna be ran between Indianapolis and Houston. I see it in my eyes.
How crazy it is to think that, like, even just 2 years ago, everybody thought the generational talent was going to run away with this division like Peyton did.
Yeah,
exactly. And then I
tried to tell people this guy is not a generational talent.
Well,
I said it from the time that he was drafted. He's not a generational talent.
We talked about this. We talked about the fact that like a lot of success in college automatically equates to it being generational talent, and it's not. It just means that you were very successful in a college system, and then it still has to equate because
at a major university. Yeah,
exactly.
But basically got any recruit they could.
Yes. But we don't have to take anything away from the Jags. We don't have to take Trevor Lawrence out of the equation because Press Taylor does that well enough as it is, and Doug Peterson wants to keep him. As far as I'm concerned, keep Press Taylor, baby.
We just ended. That's why I jumped on here because we just ended our show in Texans Fan Battle, and we had a Texans content creator, and we were just talking about you guys. Like, dude, look what Shane Steichen did with Gardner Minshew.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine the playbook if AR was healthy. We really talked about that right on the screen, that 4th down play. Just imagine what you could have done with AR. Like 4th and 2, a quarterback draw, a read option. Like, dude, take his mechanics out. Like, bro, it's scary. That's what I'm saying.
RPO. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You build on AR and CJ Stroud, dude, there's no way that the Titans and the Jaguars can compete with.
Yeah.
And add Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen, dude, y'all hit the home run.
Yeah.
So
what becomes very important in my opinion is I'm already on the boat, just putting this out there. I think the 15th pick should be Roma Dunze. I don't think it should be anybody else but Roma Dunze. I've already admitted that MPJ is number 1. If you get Roma Dunze as your number 2, Alec Pierce can be a 4, and you have Josh Downs in the slot with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, and the multitude of tight ends you have, this offense will be stupid.
I want a Mitchell, Worthy, or Coleman, but I don't think they're going to be there at 27, 28. So I want Devondre Sweat.
Mitchell
from
would be
UT.
there.
I think a lot of teams are receiver heavy, so I think they want them.
Mitchell's projected to be at the Bills, which is like 28 right now, 29.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So
Mitchell would be good.
I take Devondre Sweat, defensive tackle, help us with the run game.
Do y'all run a 3-4 defense?
We run a 4-3.
Okay, yeah. Then Sweat would be a perfect one gap or 3 gap TT. So
I am on the opposite. I want McKinstry.
You want Kool-Aid?
Yeah, I mean we need a lockdown corner. Yeah.
So
some Kool-Aid?
So give me the
Kool-Aid. Give me all the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I'm cool with Kool-Aid. But the dream scenario is, because, like I said, we know that Rivera got fired. We don't know what this team is going to look like moving forward. The dream scenario is potentially trading a 3rd rounder and some other assets, possibly for Scary Terry, and then going cornerback or going edge in the draft. I think you get an edge, you get a cornerback that first round. I think that shores up this defense a whole hell of a lot.
Well, and you got to picture into the, Keenan Allen is most likely getting cut. There's guys who want out. Devontae Adams. There's a whole bunch of good receivers that want out.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Don't you bet Chris Ballard?
So I
guys
get
not
that.
get any of those guys.
I get that, Hurries. I'm just saying there's so many available options.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Chris. You just got to take the right pick at the right time.
Yeah.
Don't reach. That's one thing. Like Hurries said yesterday on the AFC South, you can't just sit back and chill. You can't reach. You got to get the best pick.
Yeah.
For your team.
Yeah, and I really, and the thing is, I also hope that this doesn't end up turning into a situation where you're looking at the success of this team and you're saying, oh yeah, well, you know what, we should be good, we're fine, we just need this, that. No, it's just like this team needs to have you either need a good CB in the draft, or you need to get a good veteran cornerback, or like I said, if you address cornerback, wide receiver, and edge in free agency and in the draft, then this team easily, I believe, goes to an 11-win team.
Yeah, for sure. You've got to be balanced in the offseason approach. This can't be just about getting guys in the draft and not spending in free agency. Like, if I were to bet anything, Jim Irsay is going to be on Ballard's ass to spend this free agency.
And the good thing about you two, you finished in 3rd. So you got that. The strength of schedule is not as, kind of like this year, right? Not too hard, not too easy. It's a good balance of see where your team is. So
exactly.
Not like us. We got to play fucking every first place team. So that's going to be the real. That's going to be the real test for the Texans, is to see what we do against a Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys. Like, I wish we finished in 2nd.
So let me ask you this, Matt. Are y'all keeping Slowick?
I don't think Slowick leaves.
There's too many good shots. This is my thing. Is there's too many. You know what what every coach tells their top assistants: don't reach for a job, go find the right job. There's just so many good jobs.
Which one though? Which one? I don't think
the Chargers.
I don't think that's a good one. Look at the cap hell. You're gonna have to cut. But
they are. But you already have your quarterback in place.
You got that.
You have a defense in place. You've got key pieces there that you.
But you got to cut your defense. You got to cut. James is probably gone. Hack is probably gone.
What?
So you're
potentially.
So the only one I can see being decent, maybe Washington.
I was gonna say Washington. The undercover decent team that's gonna be out there, because all you have to do is replace the quarterback because the quarterback's trash. The Falcons.
I was about to say the Falcons.
That's a great job.
That's going to be contingent on the Bears too. Because if the Bears let go of Fields, or if the Bears choose to like shop Fields, he can very easily go to Atlanta. Somebody takes over that job.
Yeah.
You have an X factor at running back. You have an X factor that hasn't been used properly with Pitts. And then you have Drake London, who has a lot of upside, who you've seen can make plays. Like that team.
That's a really good. It's actually a really well built roster. Arthur Smith is, just coached like he was in the 1920s. That's all.
But too, like you just don't see that a lot, right? First year coordinators like Mike Kafka, he didn't do it last year. Ben Johnson didn't do it last year. Like a lot of teams, or you know what I'm saying. A lot of guys don't do it. Mike Vrabel was really the only one recently that did it, and we can say he got lucky that he played in the AFC South, that he played a garbage division. Because if he played anywhere else, it'd be different. So I think so. I mean, you really think
he played in the AFC South, but this guy had 60 guys on the IR and still won the division and was the number 1 seed. They beat a lot of really good teams when they won that 1 seed.
Did they?
I have to. So the thing is, I do have to say, this is the same Titans team where not even with winning the division. They beat the Ravens, they beat the Patriots and Tom Brady's last year, and then they went to the AFC Championship against the Chiefs of all teams. And I think the Chiefs did win that year. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, you've seen that they've been able to just go into, now mind you, of course, personnel issues because of the fact that they went 12-5 with all those injuries, and then they weren't able to make it out the divisional round after getting the first round bye. So the thing is, I think that has more to do with the same thing that we just talked about. But I think it's being dealt the hand that you're given, and the hand that he was given was John Robinson, who Titans swore was the best thing to happen to GMs since.
I agree with you that
GMs
too, but
ever.
You can also say since Arthur Smith left, he hasn't really been that great, that good of a coach. Like it's just his coordinator
because it's a single-sided offense. The offense is basically giving the ball to Derrick Henry. They did nothing to expand on that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that year they were the 1 seed. They beat the Chiefs, they beat the Bills, and they beat the Niners that year.
Oh, they did beat.
They managed to beat good teams, but
and the Rams, who won the Super Bowl.
I think this kind of caught up to him. Like I know, Matt, you were saying that Tim Kelly might be a good fit, and I was just like, I don't see it.
Oh no, I never said that. I knew
Tim Kelly.
I knew Tim Kelly.
but Tim Kelly was an awful fit, and I mean honestly, Tim Kelly, he as you saw, he was his offense didn't have a scheme. It was the D-Hop is somewhere out there offense at all times. So I mean that's what you got.
Well, and to piggyback off what Harish said. Their offense was one-sided. Is give Derrick Henry the ball, and we all know in this game, you running back shelf life is nothing. Like you can be good 1 year and absolutely trash the next year. Yeah. So like that's just you traded away one of your best receivers in franchise history for peanuts. Like that was where they fell right there. Is when they got rid of AJ Brown for nothing, and that wasn't Mike Vrabel was pissed off about that.
Well, we know that.
But I mean, I hope Bobby doesn't go. But if he does, next man up, Ben Johnson.
That's part of coaching, right?
Yeah,
it's part of coaching. Like the great coaches replace their good coaches with good coaches. That's kind of how it works.
I mean, y'all are getting a lot of people from the GM side. A lot of them are getting calls for like the Bears, the Panthers. They're getting a lot of looks from the Colts side. So
they can take this dollar. They can take him tomorrow. I don't
winning, care. Like I said, winning fixes everything. Yeah, if you're winning. All eyes are on you, right? So
and winning changes the outlook on free agency too. I think the year that we got Matt Ryan, it's just like nobody wanted to come to Indy. I think the only reason why you end up getting somebody like what's the name, and I forget his name now. Of course, came in with Gilmore. Ngakoue, Yannick.
Yeah.
You get Yannick Ngakoue, you get Gilmore, and I mean Ngakoue. It's just like he was great at pass rushing, like we knew he was, but he was also terrible at run defense, like we knew he was also.
Yeah.
So the thing is, just like those were the two guys that were able to come in. They only came in on 1-year deals. But then you have this year where you go 9-8 and you barely bring anybody in. But now it's just like, oh, well, you know what? Now you should be able to go ahead and get some help because this team actually looks like a contender.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's gonna be tough to compete against the Houston because now you've got Houston with the franchise quarterback, and like Houston's not a bum city; it is a huge city. It is
no sales tax. Look, people can say that doesn't play a factor. It really does. Like if you're a millionaire,
No
you got to
sales
pay state tax, bro.
Dude.
Oh yeah, no state tax mixing.
That's
Why
massive.
Yeah, because listen, why do you think people like going to Miami so much or going to Florida as a whole? Because you know for a fact that you're not dealing with state tax.
Right.
So, no state tax means more expendable income. So, yeah. But I think also it boils
was good
down
talking to y'all.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, Riggsy, coming on.
So y'all have a good one.
All right, take it easy. What in the world? Were
Apple
those sparkles?
stuff. Yeah, it's just Apple stuff. It's like the new Apple.
Oh no, oh my God. Why is it? You know what? All right, Matt. Have a good night, sir.
Get him out of here.
But yeah, so now and I'm glad that we had that talk because now I gotta ask, and we'll go ahead and we'll close out after this because there's no game to preview this week. Huzzah!
Yeah,
all right,
it's off-season time. We can go talk about the wildest things that are going to happen in the off-season on Twitter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Make sure that you're following at @HorseShoe_Mob on Twitter too for all the happenings. But how far is this team away from truly competing? Like I said, we went 9-8 this year, right? Now, this could be something that could be done in the offseason where we all of a sudden become very competitive where, like I said, we're definitely like we know for a fact that double-digit wins is absolutely on the table. But how far is this team away from really, really competing and just being able to, I'm going to say, just like assert themselves?
I mean, we're not far. We need a weapon on offense, another weapon, and some help in the secondary, and an elite pass rusher.
Okay.
That's asking a lot, but it's also at the same time not that much.
Okay. Do you think that could be addressed in an off season?
I think it could, but I think we will. We'll see. Hopefully Jim and Shane are both on Chris Ballard and we spend some money this off season. But we'll see.
Okay. All right. What about you, Harish?
Yeah, I think we're really close. I mean, kind of the same areas of focus are kind of the same thing as Austin mentioned. We need a elite pass rusher on the other side of Pay. We need because Pay, I think Kwity Paye is actually really good. I don't know if he's elite, so you need a guy that can consistently get to the quarterback or put pressure on the quarterback. And then you've got a combination, and then Pay can help, and then you got a combination of guys like Dial's had a really good year. Obviously, my favorite guy, Tyquan Lewis, he's been in and out. I think he actually stayed healthy this year. So you've got guys there, but you don't have that elite guy. I think a wide receiver too is a big need. And then I think you need a shutdown corner, a guy that not only in man but also in zone is a guy that can be a difference maker in the secondary. Is a guy that you need. And yeah, you can address it in one offseason. It's called spending money, and quit being a little scaredy cat.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to. Yeah, they can fix this team in 3 months if they wanted to.
I think so also, because now it's like you're in that realm of knowing that having certain players and not resting on your laurels is something that you can't do. Like, yes, you retain Darryl Baker. You retain Darryl Baker because he can be a CB5 because you went out and you got another corner. Yep. So now, because you elevated Jalen Jones and you got yourself a veteran CB, or you got a really good CB, out of the draft, now you know for a fact that you have somebody who's played in the system, but isn't necessarily coming in to eventually start in the system unless something happens.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really going to boil down to making sure that the moves you make aren't the, oh, well, we're good where we're at moves. It's, no, we need to go ahead and get this
Take
guy
them
in.
next level.
He's going to
Yeah.
come in and compete, and it's going to create a competition. Because the thing is, you can't continue to say that this guy earned a spot while not going up against anything viable. Because if you go out and get a Marcus Peters and you say that, oh, well, we're going to have him competing against Darrell Baker, he's going to clear Darrell Baker every single day of the week and twice on
Right.
Sunday.
Yeah, I think the other thing is now you're on another time clock, right? You don't, unlike the last 2 or 3 years where you're tied by a large quarterback contract, you don't have that. Listen, 2 or 3 years under that rookie deal, you basically lost year one under that rookie deal. That 2 or 3 years is going to go by really quickly. So now you've got that window where you have to have a sense of urgency to try to get one or win one or get there or do something before you have to pay Anthony Richardson.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's only going to continue to go up. So the thing is, if you end up being more successful, let's just say year 2, year 3, you're contending. You end up being like a 2 through 4 seed. That means that now you know that you're primed to be able to go and just make a run that following year before you can get to that, because you're either going to have to go into a 4th year where you're going to have to give him an option, or you're going to pay him that 4th year because he's been overly successful on his rookie deal. And so that's where that comes in. So the thing is, like I said, there's definitely a sense of urgency, and I think Chris Ballard knows that. I think that's kind of why he waited for as long as he did to go out and get a rookie quarterback, because he knew that the clock starts ticking. And he said this. He said the clock starts ticking when you have a rookie quarterback because you have a limited amount of time to do the things that you need to do.
Literally the worst quote in Colts history. I hate that quote. Yeah. Can't stand it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really just, I think it's just going to boil down to making sure that everything just goes as smoothly as possible, but also Chris Ballard just has to be he has to get the hell out of his own way on this.
Fingers crossed. That's all we can do.
Exactly. So with that being said, people, we are out of here. We will be coming back later on, making sure that we'll be commentating. We're going to talk about some of the playoff matchups. All right, so this way we'll be able to do this. In the meantime, guys, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at CookieAustin2.
All right. What about you, Harish?
You can find me on Twitter at EvoVT.
What, yo? Okay, how about we don't? How about we don't say we did?
That was a good time. We had a good time. At the Uncle Gundy, and then of course you can find me on the Texas Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast Thursdays. By the way, special episode tomorrow of the Texas Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. If you guys are fans of NCAA football, you definitely want to show up. We will have Matt Brown from the I believe it's the 4 point. What's it called? 4 points. Let me see. Sorry, the Extra Points newsletter. He's the publisher for Extra Points, which is a sports gaming related newsletter, and he's the guy that's been leaking all the stuff for NCAA up until this point. So we will have him on our show tomorrow afternoon, 3:30 p.m.
Okay, because like I said, I just want to make sure that he's actually going to drop some news, because the last time I was promised an NCAA trailer, I had to watch a whole college national championship game, and that was awful.
Well, so that's funny. I'll talk to you offline about what a conversation I had with him earlier this week.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to talk offline about this. So, all right, people. Well, you can find me at CJ Colts Fan on Twitter. Make sure that you are liking, subscribing, commenting on all platforms. Make sure that you find us on YouTube. You can actually find us through the Twitter channel as well. And, yeah, so other than that, like I said, we appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week. And as always,